Hello everyone. Today I am going to talk about my weeks. So this one here, I'm just going to slide this one over. So this one I purchased last year. It arrived, I want to say in June. So with this one, I did put some stickers just on the outside of it. I had it in a clear case and then in my Gillio Slim Appunto. So with this here, I had just put down some family pictures and it was just more stickers. I wanted to bring out the yellow and then more pictures, just crossed off the months there. I did finish it in December, so none of the 2024 is crossed off. But what I was doing with this one is, no, so maybe I got it. I think I might have just did the monthlies in here to back plan just the monthlies. So with this one, I did just do that, as you can see, just filled in important things, not like my work schedule and things like that, but I did keep up with this. And then, so I did not do that. So what I did was I taped all of this down because I was not going to use these months. I'm sorry, I stapled it. And then this was just some vellum that I had printed, so I had that there. And then every month I do a goals and accomplishments. So a lot of these are personal, so I'm just gonna cover this up here. But I just always do it with like washi. So this is what was going on at the front of it, all of my goals and accomplishments for the year. And then what I was doing here, because this was, let me see when I got this. Okay, so I did get it in June. So all of these, this was an April start, so I was not using any of this up at the front. So what I did was I was reading a lot. I was on medical leave from work, so I was using this a lot because I was reading a lot. So what I was doing was just a book log, and then I would just have the title, the author, the start and end date, and then my rating system in stars. So I was also coordinating with Goodreads as well, but these were all of the books that I had read. I was going to do something different on these pages, but then I ended up just kind of writing about reading, and again, more books here, and then more books here. So then I started another one, but I was already back at work at that time. I put 10/22. It was 23, but this is when I went back to work. So that's why my books, I had to stop reading as much, but I was using that. So that's one way that you can fill up pages. You know, I do different things on different pages that I'm not using. So I decided to do a book log. And then here I just had some words that I wanted to write about, year-end notes. A lot of this is just journaling. But then what I did was, I had tried for a couple of years to make the weeks work for me, and I was struggling because I just could not work with the layout, and just I had to figure something out. So I did take an older one that I had and I did a mock layout for a couple of weeks before deciding to get a new one. And then this is what I came up with. I was tracking the weather over here. I was tracking my son's activities and mine. So this was a 3 divided space here. And then I just wrote the week up here, priorities, and then I did my tracker. So I was doing anything that was a priority for that week, and then a grocery list or just anything to buy. And then over here, a chore list. Then over here, I had a tracker that would go sideways. So all of these things I did Sunday through Saturday. And then even though this was going Monday through Sunday, but I ended up switching it for the next week because I had made that mistake with that one. So for a while, this was my layout, just some simple washi at the bottom, a little girl sticker over here. And so I'll just quickly flip through because this was my layout. It doesn't matter what material is written on here, but this is what was working for me. And eventually I stopped tracking the weather in here because I went back to using monthly books for a little bit, which I'll save that stuff for another video. And so I was still tracking in September the weather, but as you can see, I missed a lot of days. And then my tracker, everything was still the same. So then this week is where I switched it up. And then I started putting the weather in here, just the high and the low, my sun stuff, and mine was just a little bit wider. Then I continued to do my same exact layout again, all the way through to the rest of the year. And this was the first time that I had actually used the weeks, and I was loving it. I was absolutely loving it. So I did stop here, but that was okay. I didn't finish. I had a lot going on. December, I had a lot of sickness, and I had an injury to my ankle on December 4th. I ended up falling and getting a really, really severe sprain in my ankle. And then I got the flu, then my son got the flu. Like, there was a lot going on. So I said, well, I made it through. I made it to this point. So it does go all the way until April. And what I was going to do is to use up those pages because I got a Kinbor Weeks, which I'm going to show you in a minute, that started January 1st. So I knew I wasn't going to use these, but I had plans to do other things with it. But I said, you know what? You used it to capacity. I had bought it on sale. I got it for like $12.50. It was 50% off because it was in the middle of the year. So I was not worried about it. But then what I was doing back here in these pages, the note pages, I was doing a weekly to-do list. Instead of tipping something in, I was just creating a to-do list over here. So I just put down a sticker to indicate every single week, so I knew as far as pages, what weeks I needed, how many pages I was going to be using up. So anything that didn't get done got migrated into the next week. I just checked off and highlighted with what I was doing. And then I was going to do a bye-bye 2023, hello 2024, but then these were journaling pages, so I will not open these up. Well, this one here, I had a Bible reading schedule that I was doing on some of the pages, and then what I had read during my daily Bible reading, all of the books, and then I had finished with Deuteronomy and was starting Joshua when this one was done. But again, these are journaling pages, so I will not share these. I had done like a November and a December, and then hello 2024, because I was going to use it through April, then I decided not to. So that just remained blank. And then I was doing the weeklies again in here, those to-do lists. So none of that ended up getting done, but that's okay. I had like a goals by end of year. I got a lot of that stuff done. So I did use it pretty much to capacity. I printed a lot of vellum stuff. I did staple all of this down. And then I was doing like in the my 100 favorite scriptures. So I did list a bunch of them there, but then all of the rest of that's journaling. So I did get, and this was the standard. This was not the mega. So I did use it pretty much to capacity. I just had some tabs up here, goals and accomplishments, pretty much, books, weekly, and then to-do lists. So I did get a lot of use out of this. Would I buy a Weeks again? Absolutely. I actually bought another one right after that. And again, I got it on sale. It's a 2023. I started using it for faith-related things, and it was just pen to paper, and then I just stopped using it. So I will come up with another purpose to use that. I reuse a lot of things. I start stuff, I stop. So then this year, I decided to go with a Kinbor. I wanted to try this out. I had seen the coffee theme. I love coffee. I'm obsessed with coffee. So I decided, and I had all these nice coffee stickers. So I decided to do this theme. So I got this, have stickers down in here. And this one is more of like, this one is your typical Weeks, like flexible, softer cover. This one is really more of a hard cover, but it's nice and it still works with the Slim Appunto. So then what I have here, I can actually cross off February now that I'm in here. And again, my layout, so I have a tracker going here. I have to update the end of February and then start for March. There's a few things I'm going to change on it that I just wasn't using, But then for my weeklies, I kind of do the same thing. I just have a little girl sticker, and then I just put any spiritual meetings that I have. I have to actually go in here and do March. I'm using so many books, and you'll see throughout my videos that I am using a bunch of different books. So sometimes I have to catch up for a few days in one book, but that's totally fine. This was my meeting record tracker. And then this is my layout again. So I was tracking the weather. I stopped after a few days again because I was doing my bi-monthly books. I don't do monthly, I do bi-monthly because I can't commit to that much space in one book. So I still have my son's activities, my activities, weekly priority, but because this one I'm using the beginning part for the tracker back there, I'm not using my tracker on that page. So now my tracker, and I have enough space for all of the months. So that is now over here. So now I don't have this part divided, but then I just have things to buy and my chores because this was working for me. Every single week in here, all the way straight through. And again, I've been using this with the same layout since January. It is totally working for me. I don't want to ruin a good thing. So I'm just leaving my layout the same. It's familiar. I know what I have to do. Like I said, I do have to go and backdate, but this is pretty much the catch-all for me. It is pretty, and I forgot to pick up my meds again, but I still have some. But my blood pressure pill. So with this one, it is working. I don't want to change anything. It's the catch-all, like the most important things for that day. My daily spreads that I do in my bi-monthly book, those are more detailed, and I'll put like the little things like I put a new nail set on, you know, wash and blow dry hair just to take up space. But in this, I don't need all of that. So this is reserved for like, you know, my work schedule, my son's schedule, what he has going on. If I'm going to try to film, you know, meeting attendance, Bible studies, and things like that. But all of my pages for this whole entire year are mapped out with a coffee sticker. I had big stickers and then I ran out towards the end, so it's a little sticker. But then in the back, I have, you know, goals. Again, is what I'm using this for, like appointments to schedule. A lot of these things I can check off because they're done. Financial goals for the year, you know, healthy for us. And that's more like nutritionist for myself and like gym membership through the insurance, self-care goals, home goals, monthly, weekly, and daily cleaning lists, things to replace in the home. I did get a new air fryer. I got my HexClad, and refrigerator is a possibility, but I rent, so my landlord will take care of that. So with this here, I still have a lot of paper, but the beautiful thing is it's only March 1st. So by the end of the year, all of those pages will be used up. And then I just have more coffee stickers. And then I have my little pencil board back here. So that is how I use my weeks. This layout is working for me and I don't want to ruin a good thing. So I will continue to use this layout for as long as I use a weeks. Will I buy another one next year and do the same thing? I absolutely will. And I probably will go with the Kinbor. I do like the Kinbor. I like the paper. This one is very, very thin. I mean, that one is not too thick, but you can definitely feel a little difference in the paper. And honestly, I really like this paper. I do. I mean, you can hear like that it's like, you know, it's got a little bit more to it than the Hobo, but I do like it. I will definitely do it again. And this is going to be my main like to-dos. And that's how it's been for last year, so far this year. And I will continue to do that next year as well. So if you were looking for ideas on what to use a Hobonichi Weeks for, or how different ways that you can use it, different things to track and different things to log, hopefully that was a little bit helpful for you. And you know, just create your own layout. If you're seeing things that don't work for you, one week try one thing and then the next week try a different thing. Before I did this layout, I was trying out different layouts in an older weeks that I had. And after like 2 weeks of trying this one, I said, this is working. I'm going to buy a weeks. So I have this one here. If I wanted to try another layout, I possibly could. I can go in here and I can try out a different way, and I can do something different. I've already gone in and I used whiteout for the whole entire year. So this is, for me, would pretty much be an undated. So I can start it anytime I want. I could go in and I can divide this in half. I could leave it whole and just do different things. But try out a different layout. And if you don't have something, make a mock layout. Like before I decided to buy the Commit 30, I used a cousin that I have in the same size, the A5, and I did a mock layout, and I used it for 2 weeks before my commit, before I decided to order it. Before I committed to order the commit and actually go through with it, I did a mock layout. I had so much fun with it. I loved it. So I said, okay, I'm definitely going to buy it. But just try different things. Use what you have first. Take a blank sheet of paper and draw a layout and cut it down to size and see if you can work